Sin severely affects our functioning. This is why it's so serious, because it affects our functioning. One of the reasons that Jesus addressed the paralyzed man's sin, I believe, rather than his sickness first, is because he wanted us to connect physical paralysis with spiritual paralysis, the spiritual paralysis that sin creates. I'll say it this way: sin makes you dysfunctional. Sin keeps you from functioning the way God intended for you to function, okay? So God made us, He created us, He wants us to function in a certain way. When sin enters our life and enters our world, enters our relationships, dysfunction happens. The reason there's dysfunction in our lives is because we live in a broken world that is sinful, and we ourselves are sinful. And so that results in dysfunction. And so here are the dysfunctional aspects of sin. This is what sin does. I mentioned a moment ago, it deceives, but it also destroys us. As Paul says in Galatians chapter 6, 7, and 8, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Whoever sows to please their flesh, from the flesh will reap. What will they reap? Destruction. And I want you to think with me for a moment, how many people have had their lives destroyed by sin? How many people have had their health wrecked by sin, destroyed by sin? How many marriages have been destroyed by sin? How many dimensions of life have been destroyed because people have chosen a pathway of sin rather than God's way of living? So it deceives and it destroys us, and then it also murders us, it kills us. There's something about sin that results in death. And in fact, the Scripture is very clear about this. The wages of sin, what are the wages of sin? It is death. And I was thinking about this, and as I was preparing and going over my notes again yesterday, this whole idea of sin being murderous. How does sin kill people? And I thought about all the folks that I've known through the years that chose the pathway of walking away from God and living a life really caught in their sins. And I see in them, looking down the pathway of their lives, how they have been murdered in the sense of their potential. They had amazing potential for God and amazing potential for all kind of incredible things in their life, but that potential was murdered, killed in them, because they chose the pathway of sin rather than the pathway of God. So it destroys us, it's destructive, it kills us, it murders us, and then thirdly, it robs us, it steals life away from you. That's what sin does. Steals resources from your life. As Jesus said in John chapter 10, verse 10, the thief, that's the devil. And of course, we ally with him when we engage in sin, comes only to steal and kill and destroy.